If you are considering a move to France, especially if your life in the USA is pretty good already, you may be asking the same question someone asked us this week. Was it really worth it? Hi, I'm Raina.
I'm Jason, and we're Baguette Bound.
Someone who lived in both the US and Europe once told me the secret is a middle-class life in Europe is actually more equivalent to a middle upper class life in the US.
But what does that mean? What kind of life are we talking about?
So in our case, what that meant was we always wanted to be in a place that was, kind of quaint and walkable, but it had an active community and some access to nature.
Yeah, and a place that was safe, that offered cultural activities, quality schools, where we could reasonably afford a house as well. None of this is really crazy stuff, but to get this whole combination, it's just incredibly rare in the US. You're always missing at least one of these, and it's usually affordability.
Right.
I think being someplace that's walkable, clean, safe, where maybe you have a nice farmer's market. In the US, this kind of place is usually very, very expensive.
Yeah, I usually think of those as more like upper end places in the US. But then when we came to France for that first sabbatical year and we were looking around, I started to realize that there are lots of towns and cities and villages throughout France that offer all of those things. So what kind of felt like a unicorn combination in the US, it was like, that's not actually all that uncommon here in France. So, for example, our little town that we settled on, there's 2,900 people. I can walk to town, and within town, I can walk to a bakery, two actually, the butcher. We have a nice weekly market, a hardware store, barber, bank, two little bookshops, a florist, lots of restaurants. There's more I'm just don't have time for it. And we even have like a small rugby stadium. We're going to a rugby game this weekend. And there's a cultural center where we can go see films each week. There's live shows. There's art exhibitions through the year. And kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is very different than what I've experienced living outside of a big city in the US. And I feel perfectly safe here, letting Juliana walk to the square to get ice cream with her friends or going to the park to play on the ping pong table that's there.
Yeah, these are the kind of places in the US that, we try to manufacture with newly built master plan communities. Some of these places are really nice places to live.
Yeah, we were in one for a while.
Absolutely, yeah, but they definitely feel manufactured and not organic.
Yeah.
And the monthly HOA fees are likely going to be extremely, extremely expensive for the upkeep of those. Now, where we live now, it isn't perfect. No place is. It'd be nice to have a train station one day. We're definitely not on the most beautiful villages of France list.
Yeah.
But the things that make this place great, like an appreciation for culture, for art, good food, along with an appreciation to spend time together talking about the culture and art and good food.
Our French friends, we love to, you eat food and you talk about food while you're eating food. Yeah.
But these things are common all over France, whether you're in a major city or a smaller town, and they just reflect the things that the people here value.
Yeah. Now, you might not be dreaming of village life like we were. You might be dreaming of Paris or Nice or some other cosmopolitan French city. But no matter where you end up in France, you're still going to have access to two really important things that felt elusive in the US.
Yeah, one is definitely healthcare. We've made an entire video about that. But in a nutshell, healthcare is just affordable. It's accessible no matter what kind of job you have. And it's just easy to navigate compared to trying to understand that crazy maze of your yearly insurance plan in the US.
And the other one is safety. I never think about getting shot going to the grocery store here, let's just be honest. And I also don't think about Juliana's safety going to school here. I actually worry more about her getting lost in PE class at school because they don't have a running track. They just have to run through the forest and vineyards surrounding the school instead, and there's not good signage.
Then we run to the side, go down, turn into the forest.
The forest. Yes, it is a real forest.
Then we loop around, run through vineyards, and then come out right about there after doing a full loop around. Then you walk back that way, there, that way.
So
come back here and then walk all the way back to school.
No PE track, just the French countryside.
I think the final thing that's made our move to France feel worth it is living in a culture that feels like it aligns with our values as people.
This is maybe the biggest one.
Yeah, I think so. Here in France, the feeling we have from all the people around us is that spending time with the people you love getting rest, and participating in activities just for the joy of those activities, these are valid and maybe more importantly, they're respected ways to use your time.
I haven't felt that sense of like productivity guilt. Kind of, I would call it in the US, where it's like if you're not doing something that is seen as productive. I mean, now I want to say and be very clear, French people work very hard and they take a lot of pride in their work. Like, do not be mistaken about this. The difference here, I think, is that work and like monetizing everything, it doesn't dominate life at the cost of everything else, the way I felt sometimes it did in the US.
Yeah, I mean, the point of apéro or happy hour is not to just expand your business network. It's to enjoy the moment with whoever you happen to be with at the time.
Yeah.
I think the difference here, though, the difference we feel living in French culture, it's more than just that approach to work and leisure time.
Mm-hmm. You'll see the French motto, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, on lots of French buildings here, the government buildings. But they aren't just words. Like, I actually see people living these values in everyday life. Yeah. You'll see it in the way French people show solidarity with each other for causes. You'll see it in how they're active in their democracy and participating. Their approach to social structure, both in like the intolerance for arrogance and their belief that everyone deserves the dignity of a bonjour. I mean, you see it in all of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that some French people even realize how often we see them displaying these values in their everyday life because it's so normal to them.
Yeah, it's like culture's like water sometimes. You don't even see it because you've been swimming in it for so long. Now, is everything like rainbows and butterflies all the time just because we live in France? No.
Do we think that France is the perfect place for everyone? No. Definitely not.
And there's hard things about moving and living here in the adjustment process. We made a whole video about that.
Yeah, but has leaving our life in the US and moving here been worth it? Absolutely. Without a doubt, yes.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching.
A bientôt.